pro the government, talking about the issue of the national accord. And actually, they think that when Raila talks about the national accord, akin to that of 2008, then he meant Nusumkati. Is it so? And of course, we've even seen Rigathi Gachagua and of course Kimani Chungwa taking a hardline stance on the Nusumkati and handshake thing. When Raila calls for a national accord, is he referring to a handshake and a Nusumkati? And what is even bad with them shaking hands in the first place or having a handshake?
I think from my side, from where I sit, there is no problem with having a handshake. But there's every problem with the intention behind having that handshake. You see? Why do you have a handshake? Why do you need a handshake? I think as long as we have goodwill across the board, that we need to address 1, 2, 3 issues, then there's no problem with having that handshake if these issues affect the ordinary citizen. That is why I have constantly talked about inclusion. The handshake, the national accord should all about be having all key players on board. Bringing all key players to the table and asking them what the issues that affect the ordinary citizens are. And you see, for 2007, if you compare 2007 to 2017 and then you compare it to 2022, from where I sit, we have had, part of the issues raised have actually been there since that time. So there's really no difference. The issue is, the kind of massacre that we saw in 2007, maybe we've not got there yet. I do not want to preempt, but I would not really want to see my country go down that drain again. There are still fresh scars from what happened, and I believe we do not want to have selfish leaders who would rather have the country burn. Let us have a honest conversation. And mark you, Eugene, we do not have a perfect democracy. My colleague said the government is the one that will implement, and the government is the one that comes up with policy. But yes, why do we need an opposition? We need an opposition to keep the government on toes. You need an opposition to give alternative policies. So when we have a question like the cost of living, the opposition should come in with different proposals, right? When you have an IEBC in place, maybe the opposition has seen issues that they need to address before we go into another election. Then the other constituency that I'd want to address, which is so critical given that we are youth, is this huge percentage that has never voted across elections from 2007, 2013, 2017, 2022. We had an election where the current regime defeated the opposition by around 200,000 votes.
Okay.
But what's the number of people who didn't vote? Have we ever asked ourselves that question?
Okay.